Hi, okay, here we are back at Game Studio 3D, and we're setting up and starting to model our little dinosaur. Basic modeling, and beginner modeling. Um, but you're going to learn my tips and tricks because I'm in modeling and working in 3D animation for over 20 years. So we have our new sphere, right? That's where we were at. We were making the new sphere, and I was showing you that with the new sphere, before we make it edible, so that we can manipulate the polygons, so we're in model mode, so we can move things around in model mode. But we go back and forth, and we can also learn the keyboard shortcuts or drag this whole menu closer to where we're working. Um, so in the sphere mode, when I was rendering it, I was like, okay, wait a minute. How come it's not rendering out showing me that I decreased the segments? And I realized that I have down here, we select the sphere body in the object menu, tabs top. In this, we're in the object menu, and we come down here and see where it says perfect, render perfect. We need to deselect that, and we need to see what it renders out now. Yeah, okay, so now, because that was left on, it was, giving us that special render feature. So we were looking at it rendered all smooth and everything. So that's kind of cool, that feature, but little things like that, um, you can get stuck on in here because there's so many features. So we select back on this sphere, and right now we're making less segments, less polygons, and this is one of the things that I didn't, it took me a while to learn. I get excited, start modeling, get ahead of myself. What we want to do is when you start modeling, you want to model with lower polygons, because the more polygons that you have, um, just depending, can clutter up your model. And so we kind of want to start with lower polygons because we can do something as we do low polygon modeling. We have many less polygons, and we can cut them up where we need them. And when we have a lot of polygons, well, if we turn this sphere off where we're setting the segments down, and we go back to this model, and we go back into polygon mode, and we start modeling, we start modeling things around, and we'll switch to the point view, and we start moving the points around. And the more polygons and points that you have, it's easier to kind of mess up basic shapes that you want. And you can always add more points, and you can always cut them back as well. So there are a lot of options. But when you're modeling a head and a face, and you're going to learn more about that. It can just be a lot of editing, too many points, and you can just go crazy with too many points. And I learned the hard way. So I did relearn to follow what I was later taught, or what what I had to learn. Oh, what I'm the kind of person that has to live and learn, right? Live and learn by your mistakes. So it's really hard when you're making a really cool character and then all of a sudden you get stuck because you didn't cut back your polygons, and keep it low poly, and then up it. So what we can do is turn off this sphere and go back up to the new one where we're editing the segments, and you can up the segments as well as, so you can up the segments of polygons, and you do get a really nice, smooth look. But now there's so many tips and or new features in Cinema 4D over the years that you could turn on this perfect render when you're finished designing a character. But since our focus most often, since we're working on a 3D universe, is lower polygon characters, but if we're working with animation, it's and movies, it doesn't have to be super low polygon. So I'm going to bring those segments back down and show you what we can do. I'm going to go down to probably, for me, right here, 16 segments looks pretty good for what I'm going to do, and I can show you some tips and tricks on how to delete or add segments even after modeling. But when you first start your character, start with low polygons, and then after you've made a few characters and finished them, then try upping the polygons or lowering them, and see what works best for you. But for today, I wanted to remember to bring the segments down. So there's the other model, and I'm just going to delete this one. Actually, I'm just going to pull it down here and turn it off, and then I'm going to hide it. I've added it to a hidden layer, and I'll show you about layers in another tutorial. Alright, we're having fun, and I'm excited.